After months and months and months of waiting, it is finally here. Let me do this out your way. Welcome back. We're back again for another unboxing. And looking at that box, you'd have thought it was an entire freight train. Well, you're wrong. It is one loco. That is right, one loco. Basically, they announced that they were making this loco probably a year ago, 2 years ago. I don't even know now. And I ordered it basically as soon as I could, especially with this particular livery. I already have this livery of loco, and I also have the same number. So basically, the company who made it previously was Hornby, and the loco, even back then, it was an incredible loco, and no one could even get close to it, to be honest with you. But the trouble is, it was an 8-pin loco. It was all-wheel drive, a heavyweight loco as well. But unfortunately, the world has moved on so far, obviously with the sound chips and obviously now being 21 and with all these various functions and lighting. So I just thought, you know what, I need to get it, and I'd like to replace that one. But before I show you, I'd just like to say a massive thank you to everyone who's liked, subscribed and viewed the videos. And obviously, if you've left a comment, I shall get back to you very, very soon. We're well above 1,400 subscribers, so thank you everybody. To everybody, sorry, for joining me on this journey. It's a good journey. It is a good journey. Talking about the comments, I have found that for a lot of the times I leave a comment back or a reply back to whoever left the comment. It doesn't come up with their account or sometimes their YouTube channel. And if you can hear that, that is a B17. That's Sally B. It doesn't always come up with their channel or their account. So I always just say, if I've liked the comment or loved it it means usually I've replied back to you. So, and secondly, it wouldn't be the same without a good cup of tea. So cheers. You're thinking, Martin, where is your usual mug? Well, I'd just like to say a massive thank you to Rob. You know Rob, you haven't seen Rob, but you have seen his products. So he had the Cavalex Class 60, the Colus rail. He also allowed me to buy the 6 EWS TEA Mark III Revolution train tankers off him, and he also is very much into the 5-inch gauge train. So all those 5-inch gauge locos that you see, the 08s, the 08s, the Class 31 as well, and you will probably eventually see some more, they're all his. So I just want to say a massive thank you to Rob, because he brought me this mug on holiday, on his holiday, not my holiday. So thank you, Rob, this is for you. So, and a good cup of tea as well. So let's get to it. Right, I've got a smaller blade this time so I don't cut myself, not that I would ever cut myself. Remember, safety first, cut away. Right, please welcome to the incredibly long awaited that's right, you can read it, the Accurascale Class 60. Right, what do we have? There we go. Right, so obviously it is the usual standard high quality box from Accurascale in this beautiful satin black, or matte black. No, it's definitely satin. Can you tell what it is? What is it? Whew, I haven't actually seen this. I've only seen it in the ice cube packaging. I haven't physically taken it out of it yet. So there we go. Look at this. So what do we have? I will go through this. So obviously we have just a little bit of to do with obviously the unpackaging, etc, etc. A incredible exploded diagram of everything on the loco. I will go through that, and then obviously on the back we also have a driver's manual. I do love this, I really, really do. And we also have a functions list as well, and I will go through all of that very, very soon. Ready? Oh, look at that. That's incredible. Oh, that is absolutely stunning. It really, really is. All right, nice tight fit in the ice cube packaging, and I can't actually get it out. Yeah. Hold on a minute. There we go. We're out. We are out. We also have, obviously, you need to read these. These are to do with the controllers and everything else, like to do with the power supply for the loco, and to do with the switches as well. Also have some foam pads to stop it collapsing in. Also extra bits, so they are for the snow plows and buffers as well. So if you don't want a conventional coupling in there, or if you do want a conventional coupling in there, you replace them. Look at this. This looks incredible. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to 60007 in Loadhaul livery. But you don't want to see this in my hand. You want to see a bit of history, hear a bit of history, and you also want to see the paperwork as well. So enjoy this. Right, let's start with the snow plows. So the snow plows on the loco already have the cutout at both ends. So if you wish to replace them so they don't have a cutout, obviously you have to remove the 4 screws and then replace it with this one. You also have a few bits in there as well, extra air pipes, 3-link chain, and a couple of other small bits as well, which I have no idea what they are for. Right, so moving on to this. So you need to read these. So this one here is to do with the power supply, so you want to make sure that the controller is capable of running this type of train. This one is to basically tell you which way to have the switches. So if you're running a non-ESU decoder or just with a blanking plate or anything like that, and the switches are underneath the decoder as well. So obviously you need to remove the decoder to get to the switches, so just be careful. I'm not going to go through this because I have already gone through this manual in 60033. That was in British steel colours, and that was absolutely stunning. So I'm not going to go through that in this video. And this video was actually supposed to go out before 60033, but unfortunately the Loadhaul loco had to be sent back. But anyway, moving on. So this is operating and caring for your Accurascale model. So this is 60065 Jaguar, and the significance of this loco is I think this was the last non-Super 60 to operate. So, and that's why that is so special. And if I'm wrong, please correct me. Right. So unpackaging, safe operation, intended use, wheel cleaning, and checking the electrical connectivity. You also have an incredible breakdown of everything that is on this loco. So if you are missing anything or if anything's broken, consult this, and this will have a number. So, and if you have noticed, which you probably haven't because I've only just noticed it, this is the extra weight, I think, that sits with inside the shell. So it's actually screwed up underneath the shell. That is how we get to 800 grams, or it's actually just over 800 grams. So there you go. Here, not to worry, it's easy enough. So the 4 screws sit here, but don't worry, you do not have to remove the bogie. You just have to move it one way or the other, and the other way, just to get to these screws. And just be mindful, if you do remove this, it is advised to use a screwdriver that's got a magnetic end, so you don't drop these screws down here, which isn't a good idea. So also on the back we have how to remove the shell. So we have 4 lugs, and obviously just clip into the chassis. There is nothing attached to the shell, which is very handy, and also if you want to fit crew as well. So the functions list, here we go. So I'll go through the functions. So F0, lights on or off. F1 is engine on or off. F2 is brake if you wish to use it. F3 is low tone air horn. F4 is high tone air horn. F5 is heavy train mode. F6 is light loco mode. F7 is drive hold. F8 is buffering up and coupling. And we have F9, which is 2-tone horn. F10 is cab door.
F11 is flange squirrel, F12 is short high air horn, F13 is short low air horn, F14 is sander, and we also have cab window, so that's F15, F16 is rail joints, and then F17 is compressor, F18 is Spirex valves, F19 is fade out, ooh, nearly there, F20 is nothing, F21 is cab lights, F22 is night headlight on or off, F23 is top and tail mode, F24 is tail lights off, F25 is yard lights, F26 is desk lights, and F27 is radiator room lights, F28 is hazard lights, F29 is shunting lights. There we go. Enough of me waffling on, you want to see more of the train. Our very own loco 60007 was completed at the Brush Traction of Loughborough facility in December of 1989, but due to various issues and problems with the locos, some serious, meant that our loco wasn't accepted into traffic for over 2 years, on the 5th of February 1992. The works number of our loco was 907, but was originally 909, and the first depot 007 was allocated to was Thornaby, just outside of Middlesbrough. Like the Class 60s before, and to the ones after ours, all received name plaques. Ours was called Robert Adam. Robert Adam was born on the 3rd of July 1728 and died on the 3rd of March 1792, and he was a neoclassical architect and also a furniture designer. The first livery our loco wore was the same as all the others, which was the triple grey, but what differed was the sector that it was assigned to. Ours was assigned to the petroleum sector, and only 18 locos wore petroleum sector decals, which was only one more than the metal sector at just 17. Fast forward only a few years to 1995, and BR was broken up into over 100 different companies, but for the rail freight side of business, it was just 3 main shadow companies: Mainline, Transrail and Loadhaul. 60007 was allocated to Loadhaul, as you can see, along with 32 fellow classmates, and was only one of 5 locos to be painted in the striking black and orange house colours. Other members to be graced with the house colours of Loadhaul were 008, 026, 038 and 059. 059 gained the name Swindon Dalesman and also a Tilcon plaque. If anyone knows who Swindon Dalesman is and the ties that he had with Tilcon or Loadhaul, please let me know. With the Class 60s usually working the heaviest and longest trains on the network, and some over the longest distances, it was found on a certain oil train the journey was so long that the Class 60s would actually run out of fuel. So under the Loadhaul banner, a number of the locos were fitted with an extra 200-gallon fuel tank, placed between the air compressors, meaning that the air tank had to be rehomed inside the loco's radiator room. By the end of 1995 to 1996, all 3 shadow companies were sold to the US-based Wisconsin Central Railroad, but we knew it as English, Welsh and Scottish, or EWS for short. Around 2007, an EWS was sold to DB Schenker, but by this time, many of the Class 60s were developing serious problems, to the point where it was cheaper to store them than it was to repair them. Roll round to 2011, and an announcement was made that a new lease of life would be brought to some of the Class 60s, in the form of the Super 60 project. This would see the mechanical and electrical systems of the loco upgraded to give around another 15 years of service life. Class 60099 received the upgrade for the mechanical side, and 60011 received the upgrade with electrical systems, but the first Class 60 to receive both mechanical and electrical upgrades was none other our very own Class 60007. Our loco also received a fresh paint scheme of DB red and a grey stripe running along the bottom of the loco. Also, we had DB Schenker brandings under the second man's window. Additionally to the new paint scheme, 007 gained the wording "Switch on Safety" and a new name plaque of "The Spirit of Tom Kendall" after a young railway engineer who sadly lost his life in an industrial accident. In around 2019, DC Rail, Devon and Cornwall Railway, purchased 4 Class 60s from DB Cargo. They were also overhauled and repainted by DB into the house colours of DC Rail. The first to be completed was 60046. Other companies followed in DC Rail's footsteps, from the likes of Colas Rail and GBRF. Fast forward to around late 2023, and DB Schenker, now become DB Cargo, took the decision to retire all Class 60s from active service. The heavy trains that the Class 60s once dominated were taken over by double-headed Class 66s or lower-geared Class 66s. As of the moment, Class 60007 is stored alongside with its Super 60 class mates awaiting for its next fate at Toton Depot. Right, I'm going to show you how to remove the shell, but I will also show you the extended fuel tank. There we go, that's where it sits. So, shell removal, there are 4 clips, and I just put bits of cardboard into here, obviously being mindful there are delicate pieces. And then gently pry the 2 apart. You can feel them moving. There we go. Voila. So there we go. That's what it looks like with the shell off. Obviously you have the capacitors, or the stabilizers if you want to call it that. Also have the speaker. I believe, is this another speaker underneath here as well? And obviously the 21-pin decoder. This is how you obviously fit crew as well. And then the shell, we also have the pogo pins and obviously the extra weight as well to take it above 800 grams. The chassis on its own, without the shell and obviously without the extra weight, comes in at 714 grams. So obviously the shell with the extra weight, there we go, is 90.
There we go. Looks and sounds amazing. It really, really does. The black and orange on the Loadhaul livery is just superb. To put the shell back on, obviously you just push it down until it clicks into place, obviously the 4 lugs, and you'll be able to hear it. So
There is a 2-week delay between now and when I actually first done the unboxing. The simple fact is because this loco got sent back, so I couldn't actually get the train to move. The sound worked fine and so did the lights, but I just couldn't get it to move. So this is, I think, a replacement loco. Talking about sending locos back, I also sent 60033 back in British steel colours, and I'm still waiting on a verdict. It sounded like it was a gearbox noise, but somebody did write in the comments that it was possibly a actual wheel bearing, so oil the wheel bearing, but unfortunately I had already sent the loco back, so never mind. You don't want to hear me waffling on, you want to see this on a full length train, and trust me, you're going to see a full length train, so sit back and relax and enjoy this.
There we go. What do you think? Looks and sounds incredible. It really, really does. If you didn't count them, this is 28 JGA wagons. I think in the first couple of scenes it might have been 27 because I have ended up removing a few of the weights. So these are the weights that sit inside the wagon. So you take a couple of screws out the bottom, remove the bogies, and you obviously remove the screw, etc, etc. So yeah, because I think, don't quote me on this, but I think the wagons weigh about 160 grams. Somebody will be able to tell me in the comments. So, and obviously so many, it does create a lot of drag. These do run pretty freely as well, so it's just purely just down to the amount of them. So, and even this was wheel spinning. If I probably set this off now, it would probably struggle to move it. So, but yeah, it looks incredible. I have seen a video of the real, I can't remember if it was 60007 or not, pulling 27 of these, and I thought, you know what, I want to replicate it. So I've collected these Tilcon wagons and the Natco tarmac wagons just over the last few years. So, and it looks absolutely incredible. And in total, I do have 30, I think 30, was that 28, 29, 30, 31 wagons in total. So, like I say, I will remove a few more weights from them just to make it a little bit lighter. So, I have said before, this is a replacement loco. So the last one, the engine revved up and the lights switched on, but the loco didn't move. There you go. So it started up perfectly. So if I apply power, so I'm going to apply power. This is a ZTC controller. Apply power. So lights on. You'll hear it accelerate. But there you go. You're hearing it accelerate, but it just doesn't move at all. I can't even feel the motor moving. I can feel the bass from the speaker, but I just can't feel any movement from the motor at all. So that was my little short that I put out, was it last week? I think last week. So obviously I sent that loco off and they've replaced it. So, and 60033, which is in the British Steel colours, which is the Rouser Sheffield Special Edition, that has had to be sent back as well, because that was actually squeaking a little bit. There was nothing wrong with the performance or anything like that. It was squeaking from, dare I say it, from I think was one of the gearboxes, but actually someone did comment on that video to say actually it's possibly one of the wheel bearings. So thank you very much for commenting, by the way. And this is actually a little bit squealy as well. So am I going to send it back? I don't think I can be bothered, to be honest with you. So I will investigate it if it does continue. So again, thank you for the comment. So I will have a look at the wheel bearings just to see if they need a little bit of oil or something like that. So would I get one? Absolutely, hell yes. It's a really incredible model. It really, really is. So I just want to say a massive thank you, first of all, to my brother for allowing me to run these trains on his network. This beautiful Class 47, which is a very old Class 47, and it's obviously been repainted, is my nephew. So that is my brother's son and his beautiful Pullman carriages, and they all have lights in them. There we go. All have lights. So thank you to him. Not that he knows that I'm borrowing it, but thank you anyway. So obviously if you've enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a like and a subscribe. And until next time, thank you so much for watching. See you later.